Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be having a severe weather update. There will be possibly a squall line of thunderstorms that will be going on across the Great Lakes region and even the Midwest. And also later tonight there'll be a chance of severe storms across the Northern Plains as well. And the severe weather threat does continue across possibly the northeast and the Ohio Valley region. So really for the next 3 days there will be a decent chance for severe storms. So let's go ahead and get started with tonight's outlook here. We have a few marginal risks across southeastern the United States, even parts of the mid-Atlantic. But the bigger story is going to be the slight risk area across the central and northern plains. Tornado threat should be saying a pretty low end threat, damaging winds, and even for the possibility for some very large hail. Those are going to be your primary threats for today. But the main focus is going to be tomorrow. We do have an enhanced risk for severe storms across southeastern Wisconsin through central Lake Michigan into central Michigan here. And the primary threat is going to be damaging winds. That's what's caused to upgrade to the enhanced for the 30% zone. There can also be some hail in there as well. Don't really expect large hail. But also the tornado threat is there, so we can see QLCS type of tornado situations. And I forgot what it stands for. Uh, I've seen it on Twitter of what it stands for, and now I just got forgot. There's also a low-end tornado threat across eastern Colorado, southeastern Wyoming, and northeastern New Mexico there as well. So, also a very expensive cyclist. It goes from Michigan, the Great Lakes region, all the way back into eastern Colorado. Down day 3, I do expect this to change quite a bit, and I'll show you guys that in a moment. But for right now, there's a slight risk across the portions of the interior and northeast, and even for the Ohio Valley as well. Marginal risk across Montana, eastern Idaho, and northwestern Wyoming there as well. Primary threats is going to be damaging winds, some heavy rain, and maybe even some lightning as well. Large hail and tornado threat should be saying fairly low for this event. For that is Sunday, I think. No, that I'll find out. We'll find out. But let's go and take a look into the NAM 3 km. So there goes some thunderstorms across South Dakota, Nebraska, and it will start to move in eastward. So this is 15C. So this is about mid-afternoon. You do have some showers of thunderstorms around across Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin, and then the storms really start to blow up around late afternoon, early evening, and more storms really start to fire up and into a squall line here. And really, this uh, particular area here is an area to really keep an eye on. You could say there could be some uh, very heavy rain with it, probably some pea-sized hail with it, and it kind of dissipates a little bit, but we could probably still linger that damage wind threat, but even it continues across northern Illinois, northern Indiana, and it dies out when it gets into central Indiana and Ohio. There. And let's take a look at a different model's standpoint. Uh, so let's take a look at the her model, the 18Z. So let's go ahead and try to continue on into the next day here. You can see here with some thunderstorms around coming out of Iowa, Minnesota, coming into Wisconsin. And really, those storms here might just kind of mess up the atmosphere just a little bit, at least kind of shake it up a little bit. It's actually showing kind of a complete different story on this type of situation. It indicates it could develop much later. So we do have some uncertainties with this. You can see here some around the thunderstorms kind of comes through. Probably has some hail, maybe even damaging winds as well with that cluster. It moves fairly quickly as well. Then here comes your squall line here. The atmosphere might be able to recover, but we're going to see if that's going to verify or not. But we're going to focus on this model here for now. Let's take a look into the atmosphere, see how favorable the atmosphere is going to be. So this is the supersonic composite. this is a composite of cape and wind shear, and this is surface based, so keep in mind of that. And as you can see here, we do have some pretty decent numbers here, actually, especially across southwestern Michigan, far northern Indiana. We got as high as 26. That's with those cluster thunderstorms there. And we do have a very slight capping going on near the surface, so storms might able to have a little bit of trouble firing up. As you can see, there are some of those higher numbers, especially across these regions here, kind of the triple point of Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. Still have decent numbers, and we're kind of a little bit into the night here. And it does indicate for some capping, so probably when that line to sort of get there, capping is going to slow down the storms. It's going to slowly die off as you kind of get into the cap area. So they're not going to really make it that far south due to capping. And if you guys were not paying attention or anything, capping, how do you indicate it is, well, some of you guys did pay attention, my bad. But anyways, the way you indicate for cap is when this red line, which is your temperature, in this white dotted line, when they cross, that's a cap. No storms cannot fire up in that type of atmosphere there. So yeah, and let's take a look into why not. Let's take a look into mixed layer cape, see how much instability there could be. So let's kind of continue on into the next day. And really over 1,000 cape, at least for the mid levels, you're pretty much pretty good to go. And we do have some pretty high numbers here. Even back across southeastern Nebraska here, got some very high numbers, about 4,100. But across several Wisconsin here, it's going to be an area kind of concern. We got 3,100 cape. So the cap is kind of there, but the storms should be able to build through that. That's a very, very weak cap. We do have some wind shear uh, going on here, so we're going to keep an eye on it. That's why the tornado threat is there, because there is some wind shear associated with this here, especially on the squall line. So, yeah. And let's take a look at the bulk shear as well. We're going to try to let this go here. And there is actually a lot of bulk shear just to the west there. Pretty high amounts, really over 25. You'll be pretty much good to go. And with the bulk shear amounts, we have quite a bit of it. Quite a bit. And they really do increase overnight as well. So we got very high amounts of bulk shear going on here. You actually can see your squall line here coming in. And let's see if we can find a sound that can indicate some damaging winds. And that's going to be kind of difficult there. Let's kind of go inside. And it seems like we're not going to get much of any luck. Really, for damaged winds, there's a little bit going on here. That's when the green line, the red line kind of gets separated like this here. In any case, there will be some wind going on. You can see there's kind of a similar situation there. And let's kind of move on to the next day here. So we're going to go to the mid-Atlantic here. Try to get kind of everybody in the picture, because severe weather threats kind of getting more expansive. It's like all the way up here across the Northeast, all the way back down into the Tennessee Valley. So we're going to try to put everything all in one screen here. Now the hurricane cannot go that far out. So let's use the NAM 3KM, the 3 kilometer, should be saying. Do not like those heads at the bottom, what they put it down there. So there goes your squall line here. They died due to capping. And some storms will try to refire. You can see there is some thunderstorms kind of back into Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. There's even a cluster of thunderstorms going on that kind of heads into New York City. So we're going to keep an eye on this very closely here, especially for a cluster something like that that does have a really good chance of producing some damaging winds with a cluster like that. But really, where we have that slight risk, like in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Maryland, there is not really much of any storms in that region. Most of the storms is actually showing across Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and Kentucky. That's why I'm saying it's likely going to change quite a bit. Now, the NAM has a little bit of a different story with this area, has a little different opinion. So there's your squall line from for tomorrow. You can see your front's right here at this time. So this is early. That's early Sunday, but as you can see here, there is some more storms across some of these similar regions. So we'll probably see this fret move further to the north, and and I think the risk overall is safe enough that like Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, I think you guys are in the clear of the severe weather threat. It's really anywhere from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, even southern portions of New York State, all the way back down into Illinois and Kentucky. There, those are the areas that have a better chance. That also includes Ohio, West Virginia, and portions of Maryland too. So you can see there storms really start to fire up overnight, especially that's 12Z, so that's like 9 o'clock Sunday morning. So, and keep in mind these outlooks here go out to 7 a.m. So they go through all night long, and then they kind of restart past 7 a.m. on the next day. Keep in mind of that. But let's move on to the Saharan dust situation here. So there is some good news about this here. It for right now, it's not looking to be very expansive for high amounts of Saharan dust, but I don't know what the forecast is really showing. All I really got is this here, and this is from 11 hours ago from John Caswell from Twitter, and it's got the Gulf Coast states pretty high amounts. So, and that's going on there right now. We had a picture back in Panama City, if I can find it there. There's my Twitter if you want to follow. I am actually very close to 100 followers. We'll probably do a little bit of a celebration on that. So if we kind of go back down here, here's another before after. I like this. This is in Panama City, Florida. You can see here it's pretty nice. And this is your Saharan dust layer here. So quite a bit of a difference here. So yeah, on that. So really, most of your Saharan dust is going on in the Gulf Coast states of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and even Florida as well. And we do expect this to move north. But really, in these yellow regions here, you still have a possibility of seeing some dust, Um, so yeah, I'm really wanting to change the forecast a little bit. I kind of realized that it's not really a good title of what I did on the last one about air quality. Air quality should not be a problem now. Air quality is not a problem because we're not seeing very high amounts of sarin dust like we were seeing a few days ago. So there's good news on that. But with still low amounts of sarin dust, you should be able to still see some really awesome sunsets and sunrises. So, and that's what everybody's really looking for with this event. And keep in mind, this is completely normal. We see this stuff every year. It's just people haven't really mentioned about it. And there's going to be another plume of sarin dust coming in very soon, later next week, possibly. But again, people in the red, you do have the better chance for seeing this area test. In the yellow, it's still possible in those areas as well. But since I haven't really seen the recent forecast, I'm going to put a confidence over here as a 60%. So kind of a little bit of a guessing game here, but really, this is going to be my final forecast for this Saharan dust situation here. and it could go out outside the yellow. I'm just not really 100% sure yet, but with the rain and the stuff of the forecast, that can really help the Saharan dust, bring down the amount of Saharan dust, whatever air, back down to the ground in kind of liquid form. In areas that can does have quite a bit of rain chances on the way, it's like places like Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, and some of the other southeastern states as well. So, but anyways, guys, this is all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did like this video, hit the like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notifications so you're never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, you could put a comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.